I'm a 22-year-old college student living at home with my parents to save money. A few months ago, a couple moved in next door. They're probably in their mid-30s. The wife is really friendly and outgoing. She's always waving and trying to chat when we run into each other. A little while back, she had some family drama going on. Her sister was in the hospital and she needed to go visit her. But her car wouldn't start. She knocked on our door, pretty upset, and asked if I could give her a ride to the hospital. Of course, I said yes. I drove her there and waited awkwardly in the lobby for a few hours until she was ready to go. On the ride home, she started opening up to me about her life. She told me about her sick sister, her job stress, her fights with her husband. It was a lot of heavy stuff to unload on someone you barely know. I mostly just listened and made sympathetic noises. When I dropped her off, she thanked me profusely. She even hugged me, which caught me off guard. Then she asked for my number, in case she ever needed another emergency ride. I didn't really want to give it to her, but I felt bad saying no. So I told her to text me hers and I'd save it. I figured that would be the end of it. But a few days later, she started texting me. At first, it was just little updates on her sister's condition. But then the messages got more and more frequent. She'd text me good morning and good night, ask me how my day was going, send me funny memes and TikTok videos. I tried to keep my responses short and polite. I didn't want to encourage too much familiarity. But she was relentless. The more I pulled back, the more she texted. Then one day, out of the blue, she asked if I wanted to go for a hike with her on the weekend. I was shocked. I barely knew this woman, and she was inviting me to spend one-on-one time with her. And what about her husband? Wouldn't he find it weird for her to go hiking with some young guy from next door? I made up an excuse about having too much homework. She seemed disappointed but said she understood. I hoped that would deter her from asking again. No such luck. The next week, she invited me to a movie, then to get coffee, then to go shopping at the mall. Each time, I politely declined and made up a reason I couldn't go. But she kept trying. It was like the more I said no, the more determined she was to hang out with me. She even started getting flirty in her messages, calling me handsome and saying how much fun we'd have together. I was getting really uncomfortable. I'm not naive. I know when someone is crossing a line, but I didn't know how to shut it down without being rude or presumptuous. I tried hinting that I wasn't interested. I mentioned my girlfriend a lot, hoping she'd back off. But it didn't seem to register. If anything, she just started asking probing questions about my relationship, like how long we'd been together and if we were happy. I felt trapped. Like if I was too friendly, I was leading her on. But if I was too cold, I was the bad guy. I didn't want to make an enemy of my neighbor, but I also didn't want to get sucked into some inappropriate flirtation. My girlfriend was getting upset too. She trusts me completely, but she didn't like this older woman monopolizing my attention. She kept asking why I didn't just block her number or tell her to leave me alone. But I hate confrontation. I kept hoping if I just stayed neutral and aloof, she'd get bored and move on. No such luck. Things came to a head last week. I was mowing the lawn and she came over, all smiley and chatty. She asked if I wanted to come over for a drink later, since her husband was working late. I was so caught off guard, I just stared at her. Then I stammered out some lame excuse about having dinner plans with my family. She looked really disappointed, even a little angry. As I was coming inside, I saw her husband pulling into the driveway. I felt this surge of guilt and panic, like I was doing something wrong, even though I wasn't. I practically ran into the house. I knew then that I needed to put a stop to this once and for all. I couldn't keep living in awkward limbo, always on edge that she'd text or come over. So that night, I sent her a long message. I told her that while I appreciated her friendliness, I wasn't comfortable with how personal our interactions had gotten. I said I was happy to be neighborly, but I wasn't looking for a close friendship, especially with a married woman. I asked her to please respect my boundaries and my relationship. She didn't respond for a long time. I was nervously checking my phone all night. When she finally did text back, it was short and cold. Just a fine, I get it. Sorry for bothering you. I felt terrible. Even though I knew I did the right thing, I hated hurting her feelings. I hated that it had come to this at all. I wish we could have just had a normal, casual neighbor relationship. But I also felt relieved, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I didn't have to dread her messages anymore or make up excuses to avoid her. I could just go about my life. Of course, now things are awkward when we run into each other. She barely looks at me, and if she does, it's with this wounded expression. I just give a quick wave and hurry inside. I know it will take time for the weirdness to fade, and part of me will always feel a little guilty, like I mishandled the whole situation. But mostly, I'm just glad I stood up for myself and my relationship. It's not easy navigating adult friendships, especially with neighbors you can't avoid. You want to be kind, but you also have to be clear about your comfort level. It's a delicate balance. I've definitely learned my lesson about giving out my personal information too readily, and about being firmer in my boundaries up front. I'm never going to be the kind of guy who can have super close friendships with married women. It just feels too risky and complicated. But I'm not going to let this one awkward experience make me unfriendly or closed off. I still want to be a good neighbor and a nice person. I just have to do it on my own terms, in a way that feels right for me and my relationship. Going forward, I'm going to be more mindful about the signals I send and the boundaries I set. I don't want to lead anyone on or give the wrong impression, even unintentionally. But I also don't want to be so guarded that I miss out on genuine connections and friendships. It's a tricky line to walk, especially as a young guy. I know a lot of my male friends struggle with this too. We want to be seen as friendly and approachable, but we also don't want to be perceived as flirting or inappropriate. It's like we're always second-guessing our interactions with women, trying not to be too forward or too aloof. But I'm realizing that the key is just to be authentic and consistent. To treat everyone with the same level of respect and kindness, regardless of gender or age. To be clear about my intentions and my availability. And to not be afraid to speak up when something doesn't feel right. I've been talking to my girlfriend a lot about all of this. She's been so supportive and understanding, even when I was too timid to shut down my neighbor's advances. She never blamed me or got jealous, but she did encourage me to be more assertive. She reminded me that I'm not responsible for managing other people's feelings or expectations. That as long as I'm being honest and respectful, I'm not doing anything wrong by setting boundaries. It was a hard lesson for me to learn, but an important one. I'm also trying to be more open with my parents about what's going on in my life. I tend to be pretty private and independent, but this whole situation made me realize how much I value their guidance and support. They had some good insights about handling tricky social situations with grace and maturity. My dad told me that he was proud of me for being kind to our neighbor when she needed help, but also for standing up for myself when she crossed a line. He said that's the mark of a true gentleman, someone who is both compassionate and principled. My mom reminded me that you never know what someone else is going through, that maybe our neighbor is lonely in her marriage or going through a hard time. It doesn't excuse her behavior towards me, but it does help me have some empathy for her as a person. I'm trying to take all of these lessons to heart as I navigate my relationships moving forward. To be kind but cautious, friendly but firm. To trust my instincts and my values, even when it's uncomfortable. I know I'll probably face more tricky situations like this in the future. It's just part of growing up and interacting with all kinds of people. But I feel better equipped to handle them now, with the support of my girlfriend and family, and the wisdom of experience. I'm also making more of an effort to cultivate friendships with people I truly connect with, beyond just proximity or convenience. I've been hanging out more with some guys from my classes, going to campus events and intramural sports. It's been great to expand my social circle and have more platonic interactions. And when I do interact with my female neighbors or acquaintances, I'm more mindful of keeping things light and casual. I'll wave and say hello, maybe chat about the weather or local news, but I don't linger or get too personal. I keep a friendly distance. With my one particular neighbor, things are still a bit strained. We've had a few brief, polite exchanges in passing, but there's definitely a coolness there. I don't think we'll ever be close, and that's okay. I just hope that over time, the awkwardness will fade and we can coexist peacefully. In the grand scheme of things, this was a relatively minor blip in my life. But it taught me a lot about myself, my relationships, and the kind of man I want to be. It's not always easy to stand up for yourself or set boundaries, but it's so important for healthy, respectful interactions. I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow from this experience, even if it was uncomfortable at the time. It's made me more self-aware, more communicative, and more confident in my own judgment. And it's reinforced for me the importance of being surrounded by good people who have your back. My girlfriend, my parents, my true friends. They're my anchors in navigating all of life's challenges and complexities. So while I may be a little more cautious and boundaried in my neighborly interactions moving forward, I'm not going to let it dampen my spirit or my faith in people. I still believe in kindness, community, and connection. I just have a better understanding now of how to pursue those things in a way that's healthy and authentic for me. It's all part of the journey of growing up and figuring out who I am and how I want to move through the world. And even though it's not always smooth sailing, I'm grateful for every lesson and every opportunity to become a better version of myself. My best friend and I have been inseparable since we were just 7 years old. We met on the first day of second grade when he asked to borrow my favorite blue crayon. From that moment on, we were attached at the hip. We did everything together, played tag at recess, built Lego castles, had sleepovers every weekend. He was the brother I never had. Growing up, both of us had it pretty rough at home. My single mom worked 3 jobs just to keep a roof over our heads. I was left alone a lot, fending for myself and trying not to be a burden. His parents were high school sweethearts who had him way too young. They were always fighting, sometimes throwing things or getting physical. It was scary, so we clung to each other like life rafts in a stormy sea. When things got bad, we'd escape to our secret hideout in the woods and dream up adventures. We promised to always be there for each other, no matter what. As we got older, our bond only grew stronger. In middle school, when his parents finally split for good, he practically lived at my house. He would show up at my window in the middle of the night, tears streaming down his face. I would hold him while he sobbed, whispering over and over that I would never leave him. High school is when things started to get complicated. Puberty hit us like a truck, and suddenly we weren't sure how to act around each other anymore. We started experimenting, crossing lines that blurred the boundaries of friendship. We never put a label on it or made any promises. It was just this unspoken thing between us, a secret that made us feel even more connected. But we were young and dumb. We didn't know how to handle all these intense feelings. We'd get jealous and possessive when the other dated someone else. We'd have screaming fights and then make up with tearful hugs. It was a roller coaster of teenage angst and hormones. I think part of us knew it wasn't healthy, that we were too dependent on each other. But we didn't know how to break the cycle, until college did it for us. He went to school on the East Coast. I stayed in our hometown. The distance was hard at first. We'd never gone more than a day without seeing each other. But slowly we started to build separate lives. Made new friends, explored new interests, dated other people more seriously. And when we'd come home for breaks, we were able to just be friends again, without all the drama and intensity. Now we're in our late 20s and he's been married for 3 years to a wonderful woman named Sarah. I was so happy when they got together. Sarah and I clicked right away and I considered her a good friend too. I thought the three of us made a great team. But a few weeks ago, everything blew up. Sarah found out about our history from an old classmate at a reunion. Apparently my best friend never told her the full story of our past. Not the gory details of his family trauma or the extent of our codependent teenage relationship. Sarah was blindsided and furious. She felt betrayed, like we had both lied to her by omission all these years. She accused me of being duplicitous, pretending to just be an old pal when there was so much more to it. I was stunned. I had no idea he hadn't filled her in. I guess I just assumed she knew. It was so far in the past and we'd both moved on so completely that it didn't even occur to me to bring it up after they got serious. I figured that was his story to tell, if he even thought it was relevant anymore. I tried to explain this to Sarah, but she wasn't having it. She said she always sensed an unusual closeness between us, but chalked it up to our long history. Now that she knew the truth, she felt threatened by it. She told me she wasn't comfortable with us being friends anymore. I was crushed. This man has been my rock, my family, my other half since we were little kids. The thought of losing him because of stuff we did as dumb teenagers feels so unfair. Especially since he's the one who wasn't forthcoming with his wife. I told Sarah I would respect her wishes and give them space to work through this. That I valued her friendship too and never meant to hurt or deceive her. But I also said that if my best friend wants to cut ties, I need to hear it from him directly. He still hasn't reached out to me. I have no idea what he's thinking or feeling. If he's mad at me too or just trying to do damage control with his wife. I hate feeling like I have to just sit and wait for him to decide the fate of our friendship. I know I messed up by not being proactive and checking that Sarah knew our full history. Maybe I was naive to think it wouldn't matter after so many years. But I can't go back and change the past. I can only move forward and hope that the strength of our bond will weather this storm. In the meantime, I'm trying to prepare myself emotionally for the possibility that I might lose my oldest and dearest friend. It's a horrible thought, but I have to face it. I'm focusing on leaning into my other friendships, my job, my hobbies, the things that fulfill me outside of my relationship with him. Building up my resilience and sense of self so I can handle whatever comes. But I'm also holding out hope that he'll fight for us. That he'll make Sarah understand how much our friendship means and that it doesn't threaten their marriage. That he'll reassure her that she's his priority and our past is ancient history. I know I'll survive if he cuts me loose, but I also know it will break a part of my heart that I'm not sure will ever fully heal. You don't just replace a lifetime of memories and inside jokes and shared trauma. A piece of my childhood, my very identity, is wrapped up in him. So for now, I wait. I pray. I try to stay optimistic while also steeling myself for heartbreak. I trust that whatever is meant to be will be, that I'm strong enough to get through this, even on my darkest days. I just wish I didn't have to. I wish love was enough to fix everything. But I'm learning the hard way that life is rarely that simple. It's been a few weeks since Sarah found out and I last spoke to my best friend. The silence is deafening. Every day that goes by without a word from him feels like a piece of my heart chipping away. I keep picking up my phone, typing out a message, then deleting it. I don't want to pressure him or make things worse, but the not knowing is torture. I've been trying to stay busy, to not let my mind spiral into worst-case scenarios. I've been hitting the gym extra hard, channeling my anxiety into exercise. I've been saying yes to every social invitation, surrounding myself with people who make me laugh and feel loved. I've been volunteering at the animal shelter on weekends, finding comfort in caring for creatures who don't judge or condemn. But still, he's always there in the back of my mind. A constant ache, a question mark hanging over my life. I'll be in the middle of a conversation and suddenly zone out, wondering what he's doing, if he's okay, if he misses me like I miss him. I've been grappling a lot with the idea of forgiveness, both seeking it and granting it. I know I hurt Sarah, even if it was unintentional. I feel terrible that my actions or inactions caused her pain and made her doubt her marriage. I wish I could go back and handle things differently, been more upfront, made sure there were no secrets or misunderstandings. But I'm also struggling to forgive my best friend for putting me in this position, for not being honest with his wife about our history, for letting her blame me instead of owning his role in this mess, for leaving me in limbo, not even having the courage to talk to me directly. I know holding on to anger and resentment will only eat away at me, that forgiveness is as much for my own peace as it is for others. But it's hard to let go when I feel so wronged, when I'm potentially losing so much. I've been doing a lot of soul searching, trying to untangle my sense of self from this one relationship. For so long, he was my anchor, my safe harbor, the person who knew me better than anyone. Facing the prospect of life without him in it is daunting. It's forcing me to confront some hard truths about my own insecurities and fears of abandonment. But it's also showing me how far I've come, how much I've grown since those tumultuous teenage years. I'm not that scared little girl anymore, clinging to one person for dear life. I'm a woman with a rich, full life of my own, with dreams and goals and a network of support beyond just him. I've been leaning hard on my faith, praying for guidance and strength, for the wisdom to know what to do and the courage to do it. I've always believed that everything happens for a reason, even if we can't see it at the time, that God has a plan for me, and that no pain is wasted if we learn and grow from it. So I'm trying to have faith that this too shall pass, that whatever is meant to be will be, whether that means mending my friendship with him or learning to let go and move on. I'm working on accepting the things I cannot change and changing the things I can, namely my own attitude and actions. I'm reminding myself that I am not defined by any one relationship, no matter how significant, that my worth and identity come from within, not from external validation. It's a daily practice, and some days are harder than others. But I'm committed to doing the work, to emerging from this trial a stronger, wiser, more compassionate version of myself. In a way, I'm grateful for this wake-up call, for the opportunity to really examine my life and my choices, to face my demons head-on and decide who I want to be moving forward. It's painful as hell, but I know I will survive this. I know I will find joy and love and purpose again, with or without him by my side. And if we are meant to reconcile, I know it will be on a foundation of honesty, respect, and healthy boundaries, not the codependency and drama of our youth. We'll both need to do the hard work of rebuilding trust and creating a new dynamic that honors our individual growth and his marriage. I'm not naive enough to think it will be easy. There's a lot of hurt and misunderstanding to unpack, a lot of difficult conversations to be had. But I'm willing to try if he is, to fight for a friendship that has weathered so many storms, to prove that our bond is stronger than any temporary challenge. But I'm also preparing myself to let go, if that's what he needs or wants, to grieve the loss and then pick myself up and keep moving forward, to cherish the memories and lessons of our shared history, but not let them hold me back from new adventures and connections. It's a bittersweet crossroads, but I'm learning to find peace in the uncertainty, to trust in a higher plan and in my own resilience, to let go of what was and embrace what will be, even if it looks different than I hoped or expected. Life has a funny way of teaching us exactly what we need to learn, even when we resist the lessons. I'm trying to stay open and teachable through this painful season, to believe that something better is waiting on the other side, if I just keep the faith and do the next right thing. So I wait, I pray, I cry, I laugh, I live, I grow, and I trust that no matter what happens, I will be okay, because I am more than my relationship with him. I am more than my past. I am a work in progress, but I am enough. And that's a truth I'm learning to hold on to, come what may. My girlfriend and I have been together for 8 months. It hasn't been smooth sailing. We fight a lot, and not in a healthy way. We yell, call each other names, and mock each other. It's toxic. We tried to stop, but old habits die hard. We always fall back into the same patterns. We even made a pact once to never shout or insult each other again after a really nasty fight. But just a few weeks later, she broke that promise. She screamed at me and put me down over something so small. I didn't say anything at the time, but I should have. Then a month later, I did the same thing to her. I insulted her over nothing. We made up, but the damage was done. A few days after that, she started going cold on me, ignoring my texts for days, refusing to tell me why. I was a mess. I could barely eat or function. Tore me apart. Finally, she reached out to meet up and talk things over. I went in ready to end it. I had even blocked her on everything. I told myself the only way I would stay is if she sincerely apologized for her behavior. Both the yelling last month and the silent treatment now. We were so close to breaking up that day. There were so many tears. But in the end, she did apologize. And I decided to give us one more chance. Because despite everything, we both think this relationship has potential. We just need to learn to communicate better. The timing was awful though. She had to leave for her home country for a week the very next day. So we haven't had any time to really work on things. She warned me she would be busy and not able to text much. But we promised to video chat every day to make up for it. Well, it's been 2 days and I haven't heard a word from her. No texts, no calls, nothing. And I've noticed some worrying changes too. She took down her Instagram profile picture of us together. And her grandma, who she's really close with, unfriended me on Facebook. I'm trying not to overthink it. I know she said she'd be busy, but after everything we just went through, the lack of communication is making me paranoid. I'm scared she's having second thoughts about us. That maybe she regrets not ending things when she had the chance. I want to reach out and ask her what's going on. but I don't want to seem clingy or start another fight, especially when she's away and we can't resolve it in person. I'm just so anxious and unsure. Part of me thinks I should just wait until she's back to bring it up. Give her the benefit of the doubt that she really is too occupied to talk. But the other part of me is terrified that her silence means something more. That every day I don't hear from her is another day she's slipping away. It's torture being stuck in this limbo. Not knowing if the woman I love is still in this with me or if she's halfway out the door. All I can do is hope that when she comes back, we can finally put in the work to fix what's broken. That her apology and promise to try wasn't just lip service. If not, I'll have to find the courage to walk away for good. As much as I love her, I can't keep pouring my heart into someone who hurts me over and over. I want to believe we can come back from this, that this is just a bump in the road. But her actions when she returns will tell me everything I need to know. For now, I'm just trying to stay busy and not let my mind run wild with worst-case scenarios. Trying to hold onto a shred of optimism that maybe this is just bad timing and not the beginning of the end. But I'm preparing myself for the possibility that the girl I fought so hard for might have given up the fight. It's not easy, though. Every time my phone buzzes, my heart jumps, hoping it's her. But it never is. I find myself checking my messages constantly, even though I know it's pointless. The silence is deafening. It's like a weight on my chest that gets heavier with each passing hour. I try to distract myself with work, hobbies, hanging out with friends, but she's always in the back of my mind. I'll be in the middle of a conversation and suddenly zone out, wondering what she's doing, if she's thinking about me at all. It's exhausting being so preoccupied with someone who seems to have forgotten I exist. Part of me wants to just shut off my phone, delete all our pictures, and start moving on. To protect myself from the heartbreak that feels inevitable at this point. But I know I'd just be running from the problem instead of facing it head-on. I owe it to myself and to our relationship to at least have a real conversation before throwing in the towel. So I'm trying to stay patient, to give her the space she asked for and trust that if she still cares, she'll reach out when she's ready. In the meantime, I'm working on myself, reflecting on my own role in our issues and how I can be a better partner moving forward, whether that's with her or with someone else down the line. I'm also leaning on my support system more than ever, opening up to close friends and family about what I'm going through. It's not easy being vulnerable, but it helps to know I'm not alone, that others have gone through similar struggles and come out the other side. Their words of encouragement and wisdom have been a lifeline on my darkest days. I'm trying to reframe this time apart as an opportunity for growth, to focus on my own happiness and well-being outside of the relationship, to rediscover the hobbies and goals I may have neglected while caught up in all the drama. I'm hitting the gym more, reading books I've had on my list forever, even looking into volunteering somewhere to give back. Slowly but surely, I'm rebuilding my sense of self, reminding myself that my worth isn't tied to her or any one relationship, that I have so much to offer the world and so much life ahead of me, with or without her by my side. It's a daily practice, but I'm starting to believe it more each day. Don't get me wrong. I'm still holding out hope that we can make this work, that the love we have is strong enough to overcome our differences and the distance between us. I'm ready and willing to put in the effort to communicate better, to be more patient and understanding, to really hear her out and make changes where I need to. But I'm also coming to terms with the reality that it takes two to tango, that no matter how much I want this, I can't force her to want it too. And if she's not willing to meet me halfway, to own up to her part and put in the same level of effort, then I'll have to accept that and let go. As heartbreaking as it would be, For now, all I can do is take things one day at a time, to focus on being the best version of myself, for me first and foremost, to lean on the people who love me unconditionally, and to have faith that whatever is meant to be will be, that even if this chapter of my life is coming to a close, a new one will begin, and I'll be stronger, wiser, and more ready for it than ever before. I've been with my girlfriend for over a year now. Well, officially together for just 7 months. When we first started dating, she said she didn't want a serious relationship. She even broke up with me right before a weekend getaway with her friends. I was crushed. But then, after the trip, she wanted to get back together. I was happy but also confused. I asked her if anything happened during the trip. She admitted to sleeping with some random guy the day after dumping me. It really hurt to hear that. She said it was her way of trying to get over me quickly. I almost ended things right then, but I decided to give her another chance. Even before that, she had drunkenly told me she wanted to date multiple people. She said having just one partner was too risky. I made it clear I wasn't okay with that. She apologized and took it back. But it still made me uneasy. I set some clear boundaries when we made things official. But she keeps breaking them. She parties hard with her girlfriends and gets blackout drunk. One time, she woke up in a bathroom stall, not remembering anything. She couldn't even tell me if she had cheated. Her Halloween costume was way too revealing. I told her it made me uncomfortable, but I didn't want to seem controlling, so I let it go. This keeps happening, especially at concerts. She dresses inappropriately and seeks attention from other guys. For our 6-month anniversary, I planned a nice dinner date, but she got wasted on a boat with friends beforehand. She was throwing up everywhere, even on herself. Some random dude apparently helped take her leggings off. When I got upset, she just accused me of being jealous. I had to cancel our date and send her home. The next day, she left for a concert with a friend like nothing happened. Don't get me wrong, she can be really sweet and supportive sometimes, but the way she hurts me with her inconsiderate behavior is too much. I'm scared to end things. I don't want to break her heart, but I don't know if I can handle this disrespect anymore. I feel like I'm always worrying about what she's doing and who she's with. It's exhausting not being able to trust your partner. I've communicated my boundaries clearly, but she continues to cross them without caring how it affects me. Part of me wants to believe she can change, that our good times together are worth fighting for. She's my first serious girlfriend and I love her a lot. Walking away from that is terrifying. But deep down, I know I deserve better. I shouldn't have to beg my girlfriend to treat me with basic respect. I shouldn't spend every weekend anxious about what reckless thing she'll do next. It's not fair to either of us to stay in a relationship where my needs aren't being met. I keep hoping that if I'm patient and understanding enough, she'll realize what she has with me, that she'll grow out of this party phase and start appreciating our relationship more. But I'm slowly losing faith that things will change. I used to blame myself, thinking if I was a better boyfriend she wouldn't act this way. But I know that's not true. No matter how much love and effort I put in, I can't control her actions. She has to want to be faithful and respectful on her own. It's scary to think about starting over and being single again, to picture her moving on with someone else. But I'm even more scared of staying and having my heart broken over and over. I'm too young to settle for a relationship that makes me feel insecure and unappreciated. I know I need to have a serious talk with her soon, really lay everything out and see if she's willing to change. If not, I'll have to find the courage to walk away, no matter how much it hurts. I just hope I'm strong enough to do what's best for me, even if it means letting her go. I've been putting off this conversation for a while now. Every time I try to bring up my concerns, she finds a way to change the subject or make me feel like I'm overreacting. She'll promise to do better, but then fall back into the same old patterns within a week. I know I need to be firm this time. I can't keep compromising my own happiness and self-respect for the sake of keeping the peace. If she truly loves me, she'll be willing to listen and make some real changes. I need to see consistent effort, not just empty words. I plan to sit her down when we both have a free afternoon, somewhere private where we can talk without distractions. I'll start by telling her how much I care about her and our relationship, but then I'll be honest about how her actions have been affecting me. The constant partying, the inappropriate behavior with other guys, the broken promises. I'll give specific examples so she can't deny or downplay it. I'll let her know that I'm not trying to control her or stop her from having fun with friends, but there needs to be a balance. I need to feel like a priority in her life, not an afterthought. I need to be able to trust her when she's out without me, and I need her to respect the reasonable boundaries I've set. If she gets defensive or tries to turn it around on me, I'll stand my ground. I won't let her minimize my feelings or make me doubt myself. I know I'm not asking for too much. I'm just asking for the basic level of respect and consideration that anyone deserves in a relationship. I really hope she'll be receptive and willing to work on things. I hope she'll realize how much she's been hurting me and take steps to change. Maybe we can come up with a plan together, like limiting her drinking or checking in with each other more when we're apart. Small changes that can make a big difference in rebuilding trust. But if she refuses to acknowledge the problem or commit to making changes, I'll know what I have to do. As much as it will shatter my heart, I'll have to find the strength to end things. I'll have to accept that as much as I love her, we may not be right for each other. Not if we can't find a way to make each other feel secure and respected. I know it won't be easy. I'll probably second-guess myself a million times. I'll miss the good parts of our relationship desperately. But I have to believe that with time, I'll heal. I'll look back and know I made the right choice for myself. I'll hold out for someone who shares my values and treats me the way I deserve. For now, all I can do is hope for the best but prepare for the worst. I need to start mentally and emotionally detaching myself, just in case. Start focusing more on my friends, hobbies, and goals outside of the relationship. Build myself up so that no matter what happens, I know I'll be okay. It's a scary and painful road ahead, but I know I'm strong enough to get through it. I've survived heartbreak before and I'll survive it again if I have to. I just have to keep reminding myself of my worth and refuse to settle for anything less than the love and respect I'm worthy of. So here goes nothing. Time to have the talk I've been dreading and see where the chips fall. No matter what, I'll be proud of myself for standing up for what I need. Even if it means losing her, I won't lose myself in the process. Wish me luck. I'm going through a painful separation from my partner of 14 years. We've been together since I was 16, and now at 34, I can't imagine life without them. Our daughter looks just like them, making it even harder to move on. We're not divorcing, but we're taking a 6-month break to give each other space. I'm in the middle of a class to get a higher-paying job so I can afford my own place. It's been over a month, and some days I think I'm over it, but then life reminds me of them. I'm doing everything to improve my mental health, like working out and focusing on myself, but it's not enough. I'm on ADHD medication and I think I need an antidepressant, but I'm worried about gaining weight like I did when my dad died. Everything reminds me of my partner. I should be angry, but I'm just sad that we have to take such drastic measures. They say they need this break to work on themselves, and I understand, but I can't seem to move on. Seeing them happy at work while they work from home is painful for me. I have to find reasons to leave the house. I don't know why they got over me so quickly. I feel annoying writing this, but no matter what distraction I try, I end up reminded of them because they've been in my life for so long. It's hard to imagine a future without them, but I know I need to focus on myself and my daughter. I'm trying to take things one day at a time and not put too much pressure on myself to move on quickly. I know that healing takes time, and it's okay to feel sad and confused. I'm trying to surround myself with supportive friends and family who can help me through this difficult time. I'm also trying to find new hobbies and interests that don't remind me of my partner. It's not easy, but I know that with time and patience, I'll be able to build a new life for myself and my daughter. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know that I need to focus on my own happiness and well-being. I'm trying to be kind to myself and not beat myself up for struggling to move on. I know that I'm not alone in this experience, and that many people have gone through similar situations. It's comforting to know that others have survived and thrived after a painful separation. I'm trying to take things one step at a time and not get too caught up in the future. I know that I have a lot of work to do on myself, but I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to heal and move forward. It's not easy, but I know that I'm strong enough to get through this. I have to believe that there's a better future waiting for me on the other side of this pain. I've been through tough times before, and I've always come out stronger on the other side. I know that this experience will be no different. It may take time, and there may be setbacks along the way, but I'm determined to keep pushing forward. I'm trying to focus on the things that I can control, like my own thoughts and actions. I can't control how my partner feels or what they choose to do, but I can control how I respond to the situation. I'm choosing to focus on my own growth and healing, rather than dwelling on the past or what could have been. I'm also trying to find moments of joy and gratitude in each day, even if they're small. Whether it's a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a friend, or a moment of laughter with my daughter, I'm trying to appreciate the good things in my life. I know that I have a lot of love to give, and I'm not going to let this experience close me off to the possibility of finding love again in the future. I'm taking this time to focus on myself and my own needs, but I'm also open to the idea of meeting someone new when the time is right. I'm learning to be more independent and self-sufficient, which is a valuable skill that will serve me well in all areas of my life. I'm discovering new strengths and abilities that I didn't even know I had, and I'm proud of myself for facing this challenge head-on. I'm also learning to be more compassionate with myself and others. I know that everyone is fighting their own battles, and I'm trying to approach others with kindness and understanding, even if I don't always agree with their actions. I'm surrounded by people who love and support me, and I'm grateful for their presence in my life. I know that I don't have to go through this alone, and I'm learning to lean on others when I need help or support. I'm taking things one day at a time, and I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself. I know that healing is a process, and it's not always a straight line. There will be good days and bad days, but I'm committed to keeping moving forward, no matter what. I'm also learning to trust in the universe and have faith that everything happens for a reason. Even though this experience is painful, I believe that it's happening for my highest good, and that I will come out of it stronger and wiser than before. I'm focusing on my own personal growth and development, and I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. I know that I have the power to create a beautiful life for myself and my daughter, and I'm determined to make that happen. I'm learning to let go of the things that I can't control and focus on the things that I can. I'm taking responsibility for my own happiness and well-being, and I'm not going to let anyone else's actions or opinions dictate how I feel about myself. I'm discovering new passions and interests, and I'm excited to explore them further. Whether it's taking a new class, trying a new hobby, or traveling to a new place, I'm open to new experiences and adventures. I'm also learning to be more present in the moment and appreciate the beauty and wonder of life. I'm trying to let go of the past and not worry too much about the future, and instead focus on the here and now. I know that I have a lot of love and light to share with the world, and I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. I trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and I'm ready to embrace whatever comes next. So even though this experience is painful and challenging, I know that I'm strong enough to get through it. I have faith in myself and in the universe, and I know that a better future is waiting for me on the other side of this pain. I'm ready to keep moving forward, one day at a time, and create the life that I truly deserve. I thought I had found my soulmate, the person I would spend the rest of my life with. We met when we were just 16 years old, young and naive, but so in love. For 12 years, we built a life together, dreaming of a future filled with happiness and adventure. I never imagined that it would all come crashing down in the most devastating way possible. Last year, I made the difficult decision to move to a different state for a job opportunity that I couldn't pass up. It was a chance to advance my career as a teacher and make a real difference in the lives of my students. My partner, who worked as a graphic designer, promised to join me as soon as he could. We had a plan, and I believed in it with all my heart. But as the months passed, something felt off. He started making excuses for why he couldn't visit me, why he was too busy to talk on the phone. I tried to brush it off, telling myself that he was just focused on his work and that everything would be fine once we were together again. Then, one day, I received a message on social media from a woman I had never met before. She introduced herself as my partner's girlfriend and asked if it was true that we had broken up. My world shattered in an instant. I couldn't believe what I was reading. How could this be happening? I confronted my partner, and he finally admitted the truth. He had been seeing this woman for months, lying to both of us about his whereabouts and his feelings. He claimed that he was confused and didn't know what he wanted, but that he still loved me and wanted to make things work. But I couldn't trust him anymore. I couldn't believe that he had betrayed me in such a cruel and selfish way. I had given him everything, sacrificed so much to build a life with him, and he had thrown it all away for someone else. I later found out that he had been flirting with other women too, telling them about me and our relationship. They would follow me on social media, watching my every move like vultures circling their prey. It was a violation of my privacy and my trust, and it made me feel sick to my stomach. I couldn't understand how someone I had loved so deeply could treat me with such disrespect and disregard for my feelings. How could he have lied to me for so long, pretending to be happy and committed when he was really just using me as a placeholder until something better came along? I was devastated, but I knew I had to be strong. I cut off all contact with him, blocking him on every platform and refusing to engage with his attempts to win me back. It was the hardest thing I had ever done, but I knew it was necessary for my own healing and growth. In the weeks and months that followed, I threw myself into my work and my friendships, surrounding myself with people who loved and supported me unconditionally. I cried, I screamed, I cursed his name and everything he had done to me. But slowly, day by day, I started to heal. I realized that I deserved better than someone who could lie and cheat and betray me so easily. I deserved someone who would love me wholly and completely, who would stand by my side through thick and thin. And most importantly, I deserved to love myself enough to walk away from anyone who didn't treat me with the respect and kindness I deserved. It's been a year since that terrible day when my world fell apart, and I'm still picking up the pieces. But I'm stronger now, more resilient and more determined than ever to build a life that brings me joy and fulfillment. I know that I will never forget the pain of that betrayal, but I also know that it doesn't define me or my worth as a person. To anyone else who has experienced the heartbreak of infidelity, I want you to know that you are not alone. You are worthy of love and respect, and you have the strength within you to overcome even the darkest of times. Don't let someone else's actions dictate your happiness or your future. You have the power to choose your own path, to create a life that is authentic and true to who you are. It won't be easy, and there will be days when the pain feels unbearable. But I promise you that it will get better. You will heal, you will grow, and you will find love again, maybe not with the same person, but with someone who values and cherishes you for exactly who you are. So take a deep breath, hold your head high, and keep moving forward. You are stronger than you know, and you have a beautiful life ahead of you. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Embrace your worth, your resilience, and your power. You've got this. Remember that healing is not a linear process. There will be days when you feel like you've taken 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. That's okay. Allow yourself to feel all the emotions that come with heartbreak. The anger, the sadness, the confusion, the grief. Don't try to push them away or pretend they don't exist. They are a natural part of the healing process, and they will pass in time. Surround yourself with people who love and support you unconditionally. Lean on your friends and family when you need to, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you're struggling. Sometimes just talking about what you're going through can be incredibly therapeutic and can help you gain perspective on your situation. Focus on self-care and self-love. Take care of your body by eating well, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep. Treat yourself to things that bring you joy, whether that's a bubble bath, a movie night with friends, or a solo trip to a place you've always wanted to visit. Remind yourself every day that you are worthy of love and happiness, and that your value as a person is not determined by your relationship status. Use this time to rediscover yourself and your passions. Maybe there's a hobby you've always wanted to try or a skill you've been wanting to learn. Maybe there's a dream you've been putting off because you were too busy focusing on your relationship. Now is the time to pursue those things with all your heart. Embrace the freedom and the opportunity to create a life that is entirely your own. And when you're ready, don't be afraid to open your heart to love again. I know it can be scary to trust someone new after experiencing such a profound betrayal, but not everyone is like your ex. There are good, honest, and loving people out there who will treat you with the respect and kindness you deserve. Take your time, be patient with yourself, and trust your instincts. When the right person comes along, you'll know. Above all, remember that you are not defined by what happened to you. Your ex's actions are a reflection of their character, not yours. You are still the same beautiful, valuable, and worthy person you have always been. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. I know that the road ahead may seem long and daunting, but I promise you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You will emerge from this experience stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. You will find happiness and love again, and you will look back on this time as a turning point in your life, the moment when you chose to put yourself first and create a future that is entirely your own. So keep going even when it feels impossible. Keep believing in yourself even when doubt creeps in. Keep loving yourself even when it feels like no one else does. You are capable of overcoming anything life throws your way, and you have a bright and beautiful future ahead of you. And if you ever need a reminder of how strong and amazing you are, just look in the mirror and say these words to yourself. I am enough. I am worthy. I am loved. And I will not let anyone else's actions define me or my happiness. You've got this, my friend. Keep shining your light and know that you are never alone. The world needs your strength, your resilience, and your love now more than ever. So take a deep breath, square your shoulders, and keep moving forward. Your best days are still ahead of you.